You were not meant to be a slave to the grind. You were not meant to trade your life force for money. You can escape gravity. You can unlock your life. You got this. Let's go.
What's up, guys, and welcome to Unlock Your Life. Jennings Smith here. I'm excited to have you with me. Got a phenomenal show today, so let's get into it. About 3 years ago, I was out at a conference, and this conference was being held in Cleveland, Ohio. So I'm up in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm with my cousin, Yaden, who's my partner now in some real estate stuff we do together. But I'm at this conference, and the creator of the conference, the keynote speaker, he's a guy named Tim Bratz. He's up there on stage, and he's talking, and he looks out into the crowd, and he points somebody out. And he points to this guy, and he says, hey, yeah, actually, I'm closing a deal with this guy. It's a 204 unit, and we're actually closing it today. Like, we're wiring the money, the bank is transferring, we're signing the paperwork. Like, we're closing a 204 unit in Lawton, Oklahoma, and we're closing it today. And I remember turning around and looking at this guy, and, you know, Tim is up on stage, and he's got a lot of units, but I don't think this guy had a whole lot. He had some traction, but he didn't have a whole lot going on yet. And I was like, wow, man, this guy's closing a 200 plus unit in Oklahoma. That's amazing. He is just killing it. And I wish I could do something like that. I started dreaming about that, but the reality was just wasn't there. You know, like that was just so far out, and I did not see that happening to me. And guys, what I want to talk about today is your mind is limiting you, right? What you believe you can do is limiting you. And here's the scary thing is you can't just think bigger, right? You can't just escape it. You can't just move beyond that, right? Because you only know what you know. You don't know more than that. And how can your mind think beyond where it's thinking? Like it can't. It's hitting a ceiling, and that ceiling is there. So for you to think differently than you have up until this point, up until this day, up until this moment on the time horizon, you have to become a different person. What are you capable of becoming? A different person thinks differently, does different things, has different wins. Back in 2016, I was in Scottsdale, Arizona, which is basically Phoenix. I was there for the Clemson versus Alabama National Championship. So I'm a Clemson alumni, and I don't think Clemson had won a national championship since 1981. So this is 2016. I mean, we're talking 35 years or whatever since they were anywhere close to winning anything. And I'm in the crowd, and I mean, all the Alabama fans are there, all the Clemson fans are there. Everyone's screaming their heart out, and we're cheering, and we have dreams, right? The Clemson fans have dreams of winning the national championship, taking home the trophy for the first time in 35 years. And the Alabama fans have their dreams of Nick Saban's dynasty continuing and winning another national championship for Alabama. And it got me thinking that fans have dreams, right? Fans have these dreams of glory. They can kind of partake in the dream. They can partake in the joy, and they can play along, right? But they don't really have any real risk. So what do I mean by real risk? Well, Clemson lost that game, right? And I go home, I go back to my job. Like, it's sad. I wish they had won, but it isn't like my life, right? I don't have real risk tied up in that game. I didn't have a lot of time tied up in that game. I wasn't one of the players. I wasn't risking injury, a broken leg or broken arm, you know, not being able to go on to the NFL. I wasn't risking throwing an interception. I really wasn't risking anything. Just a fan, you know, in the stands cheering. but I also had no real reward, right? My reward for winning, or for Clemson winning, was I'm cheering, bragging rights, I'm happy for a little while, and that's it. That's the full reward because I was not taking on much risk. But Deshaun Watson, who is in the arena playing, getting hit, he's taking on real risk, right? He throws an interception. Everyone's going to boo him, throw crap on the field. He gets tackled. He breaks his arm. He can't go to the NFL. He loses a multi-million-dollar contract. He's subject to hate. He's subject to criticism. He's subject to the scrutiny of the sportscasters. Oh, he should have done this. Yeah, you know what? He blew it there, and he should have gone long, and he went short. He shouldn't have made that pass, et cetera, et cetera. Real risk. But he also reaps real rewards. He became a national champion, right? He won the national championship, not that year, but the next year for Clemson. He got drafted into the NFL. And I know he had some issues with massages, but, I'm a Clemson fan, so I'm not going to get into all that. But became a quarterback for the Texans, has a lot of influence. And, you can't say he has not had a successful career in football. So he chased his dreams. Most of us sit in the stands. I sat in the stands for 2 years. So what do I mean by that? Well, before I was at that conference, hearing about the guy who had closed the 200 unit in Oklahoma, I bought a multifamily course. I wanted to start learning how to buy apartments. And I studied it, and I went on the MLS, and I searched around, and I really just kind of messed around for 2 years. I just was in the stands. I was dreaming about it. Wow, it would be cool. What would it be like? What if I owned a couple apartment deals and I had all this passive income and net worth being built up? This would be great. This would be amazing. But I was just in the stands, right? I really wasn't willing to put in the work to make that happen yet. Okay, so how do you get on the field? If you're in the stands, how do you put your pads on, go down the stairs, and get on the field? Well, let's go back to that sports analogy. Do you just stand up from the stands and get on the field? No. Where do you go? Probably you're going to start hitting the gym. That's the first place that you're going to do. You're going to work out at the gym, get yourself in shape, try out, start, making the practice squad, et cetera, and then you're going to get on the field and start playing so that you don't kill yourself, right? If you go out there as your average American, you're just going to get killed. But you hit the gym, you build up to it, you get out there, and you can make some plays, right? So I'm going to give you 3 steps to get on the field and start building that mindset muscle, right? Deshaun Watson had the mindset of a champion. He had the ability in his mind to win that game. He had the ability to get drafted for the NFL, to play, in the big leagues and to do great things. That mindset did not come overnight. That mindset started, in high school, maybe even middle school, when he's throwing the ball around, when he's playing Pee Wee League, when he's playing junior high and high school, and he's winning games, and he's developing the mentality of a winner and resilience and coming back from behind and never giving up, right? So let's talk about the 3 ways that we can build that mindset and get in the game of life. Number 1, know what you want. Know what you want. Define it. I was talking to a guy, random guy the other day, messaged me through Instagram, and he was saying that he wanted to be rich and he wanted to be financially free, that he wanted to be successful. And I was like, well, what does success mean to you? Well, I just want to have a lot of money. Okay, well, what is a lot of money? And I'm pushing him to know what he wants. And eventually he said, man, if I could just have $1 million, then I think I would be set for life. And as someone that's there, I'll say, no, you wouldn't be. You need probably more resources than that. But I said, okay, listen, define what you want, write it out, make it clear in every aspect, your relationships, your career, your investments, your spiritual life, your kids, your wife, whatever, all that stuff. Define it, crystallize it, and know what you want, and get back to me, and we'll talk. Well, he hasn't yet, so hopefully he does. We'll see what he does, but that's kind of the first step, is knowing what you want. Because once you know what you want, you can look at your dream, but you also need to face the truth, right? You've got your dream, and then you've got the truth. You need to look at the truth in the cold, hard light of day and say, this is where I want to go. I need to become a different person to get there. Here's where I am now. Being honest with yourself, knowing what you want, and facing the truth. Secondly, you got to ask yourself the golden question. Who do I need to become to get what I want? Who do I need to become to start achieving these dreams, accomplishing bigger things? You're not going to get what you want staying where you are. Where you are got you to where you are now. Like who you are got you to where you are now. Where you want to go, who you are now is not going to get you there. You're going to keep getting the same lack of results or mediocre results. And it never stops, right? It's all levels, guys. If you're making X amount and you want to do $1 million a year instead of 100,000 a year, you're going to have to do something different. You're going to have to become a different person. You're going to have different habits. You may have to be in a different business. And then if you want to make $1 million a month instead of $1 million a year, you're going to have to go through that cycle again. What type of person makes $1 million a month? How do they think? How do they act? How do they spend their time? Who do they hang around? What kind of friends do they have? What businesses are they in? How are they constantly refining their time and habits and friends and circles to generate that kind of income, that kind of life? And then, of course, looking back at what do I want? Like, you can make money. How are you going to make money? In what manner are you going to make money? What are you not going to be willing to give up? Like, I don't want to give up my lifestyle. I don't want to grind 60 hours, 80 hours a week, working every weekend, traveling every time at the drop of a hat away from my family. I'm not doing that. So how can I build the lifestyle I want, earn the income I want, but do it on my terms? Okay, so number one, knowing what you want. Number two, the golden question. Who do I need to become? Growth is pain. If you are not in any pain, you're not growing. If you're not doing something that scares you, then you're not growing. So the other day, a friend of mine, he buys bank foreclosures, right? So the way this works is these banks, they foreclose on these homes, they filter through these lists, they try to sell them, they don't sell them, and after a few years, or maybe, even 1 year, they come to this vetted cash buyer list. And you can bid on these houses and you can buy them for 50 cents on the dollar or less. But if you win, you have to wire in that money all cash within 24 to 48 hours. And if you mess up, you get kicked off the list. So you can make a lot of money being on this list, but you have to deliver. You have to do what you say you are going to do. No takebacks, it's you buy it. So I'm on this list and we haven't had much for a while because with coronavirus, the foreclosures have been shut down. But he messaged me, he says, "Hey, Jenny, I got this house. I think it's worth 1.5 to 1.8 million. It's on the beach, like beachfront, like in North Carolina, on the ocean. And we can get it for 550 grand and it needs $200,000 worth of renovation. It's got a hole in the roof. It's got some siding rot. Probably needs new HVAC, needs some sheetrock work, needs work. But the land alone is worth $500,000 to $600,000. He's like, "Can you get me the money?" And because that's my job, is I get the money for him. So I said, "Well, yeah, let me call my guy," because I have a guy that usually gives me the money. So I call my guy, and he doesn't want to do it. He's already invested in a bunch of deals with me, and this is a big check. I'm asking him for $750,000. And it's not the right timing. He doesn't want to do it. And so I'm thinking, oh man, I really don't want to let this deal go, but I'm at a conference. I'm busy. I've got a lot going on. But if I can swing this deal, I can stand to make a couple $100,000 off of just this one deal by raising the capital and putting the deal together. So I push through, I reach out to my network, I scramble a little bit, and within 24 hours, I got this money raised. I got the money committed from a couple different people. We just raised shares, 150,000 a share, 5 shares, boom, get the money, put it together, buy the house. So I was scared though, right? I had to grow because I didn't want to put myself out there. What if people don't commit? What if people don't want to do the deal? And what if, I got to wire in really, really fast. What if I blow it and then I get kicked off this list? And growth is pain, right? It was pain, but I paid attention to it. So this is a really good opportunity. It's a really good deal. You're going to have to work a little bit. You're going to have to get out of your comfort zone, but go for it, man. And so we did. And the point is, if you're not uncomfortable, if you're not growing, if you're not in a little bit of pain, you are definitely not moving forward. So question number 2, who do I need to become? Question number 1, what do I want? And question number 3, start racking up the wins. Some people are winners. They win. That's just what they do. You know somebody probably like this, right? Everything they touch turns to gold. They just have that eye of the tiger, tenacity. They're going to make it happen. They are going to win no matter what. Well, the same cycle can happen on the flip side, where everything they do, they give up on. Everything they do, they seem to fail. They just seem to have the worst luck. They just attract all the bad deals, and everything they do just kind of crumbles. You probably know somebody like that too. So wins beget wins. If we believe that wins beget wins, how do I start winning? How can I start getting wins under my belt that I can build on? So pick a habit, right? Pick a habit and you change the outcome. Go back to, what do I want? Where do I want to go? So I'm going to take the example. Let's say you want to buy an apartment. You want to buy your first piece of real estate and you want to buy a cash flowing apartment deal. Pick a habit, change the outcome. Well, my habit is I'm going to start building my network. I'm going to make 10 calls a day. I'm going to make 10 calls a day and I'm going to try and find an off-market deal. Or I'm going to make 5 calls a day to start building my investor network. I'm going to go to 4 conferences a year and start connecting with other multifamily players. I'm going to buy, an education course and go through it and start studying this and become a master at underwriting these deals. I'm going to make myself more valuable. It's whatever it is. Pick a habit and change the outcome. But here's where it gets interesting. I want you to do the habit badly. This is where a lot of people get hung up, where they are like, yeah, I want to have 1,000 doors within 6 months or 12 months. I want to close my first 200 unit. And if I don't do that, then I'm a failure. Or I want to have $1 million raised by the 30 days. And guys, I love ambitious goals. I set ambitious goals. I think it's okay to push yourself. But when you're starting and you're building a new habit, you've got to accept the fact that you're going to do it badly. I think back to building my social media presence, which, is definitely not where I want it to be, but it's a lot better than it was a year and a half ago. But a year and a half ago, I had to commit to doing it badly. I had to commit to just turning the phone on, going on Facebook Live and talking and having nobody show up, nobody comment, nobody like it, and nobody care, right? And I had to be okay with that. I had to be okay with starting a Facebook group that only had 100 people in it and that nobody was really engaging or interacting. I had to do a show every week and not really know what I was doing. And I didn't have the right camera and I didn't have the lapel mics and the audio sucked and the connection wasn't strong enough. But here's the thing is because I did it badly, then we were able to do it better the next time, right? I got a little bit better phone. We got a better setup. I got better at talking on my feet, thinking on my feet. I attracted better guests. We figured out more creative ways to grow it, to get better engagement. We ended up hiring coaches and pushing it forward. And we were able to turn it into a Facebook group with 23,000 people in it, which is great. I love it. And it's an awesome community that we've built. It gives me a platform. It gives me a voice. But it started off badly. It started off 5 minutes a day. It started off, but racking up the wins and putting myself out there. Not saying, if I don't have thousands of people following me and I'm not monetizing this thing $1 million a year within a year, then I'm a failure, right? We hear these stories about these fantastic successes and wins, and we think that that's what we got to do, and we're not going to do it if we can't do that. Well, that is not where you start. That is the finished product. That is usually years and years and years of doing it badly. Stop focusing on perfection. Just show up, do it a little bit better, and show up again, and show up again. Change that habit, change the outcome. I was in a parking lot, I pulled up to the street, right? I'm on the apron of the parking lot, and there's a car behind me, and they're kind of staring at me like, come on, go, dude. But I don't want to go because I don't know which way to go. I'm pulling up my phone. I just booted up my GPS, and it's saying, head southeast on Memorial Drive. And I'm like, well, I don't know which way is southeast. The GPS isn't oriented, and I really don't want to turn the wrong way because then I'm going to have to go like around the block and blah, blah, blah. And you've probably been there. You probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But I had a 50-50 shot, right? And I was 100% wrong if I just sat there in the parking lot. And eventually the guy behind me was going to start beeping and maybe even get out of his car and yell at me. So I had to do something. So I turned right. I had a 50-50 shot of being right. So I turned right, recalculating. It was wrong. But here's the thing. Was it wrong? Because as soon as I turned right and I started moving, then the GPS orients itself, figures it out. Turn left at the next thing, turn left at the next street, turn left, turn right. Okay, now I'm going the correct direction. Now I know 100% I'm heading in the right direction. And that's the thing is, even if you do something badly, even if you do something wrong, that's not the right thing. If you're taking those steps, the GPS is able to confirm or recalculate. Right? No, you need to turn here. You need to turn here. You need to turn here. And then you start getting the confidence. Hey, I'm on the right track. I'm making progress. I'm making a win. But if you're sitting there in the parking lot, gripping the steering wheel with everyone around you in their life, blowing their horn at you, mad at you because you don't do anything, you don't take any action, that's not where you want to be. That's 100% wrong every time. Make the move. Take the action. Turn right, turn left, go straight. It doesn't matter. Move. And when you start to move, then you'll get the direction. You'll get the next set of instructions from the GPS. And so I got back on Memorial Drive. Now I'm going the right way. Turn right. We turn into the complex. And guess what? It's a 208 unit apartment complex in Tulsa, Oklahoma that I own. Less than 2 years after I was at that conference, when that thing was so far out in the future, it seemed unfathomable. Now I'm pulling into a complex that I own, that we bought for a great deal, and we've renovated. We've taken the rent roll from $55,000 a month to $120,000 a month. We've taken the value from, we bought it at $5.5 million, put $2.5 million into it. Now it's worth over $13 million. It was a great deal. And I got there. But I didn't start there, right? My first deal was a trailer, a $5,000 trailer. My second deal was a $100,000 rental house. My third deal was another $100,000 rental house. Then I did a 12 unit. Then I did a 42 unit. Then I did a 63 unit. Then I did a 19 unit. Then I did like another little trailer park. Then I did the 208 unit. I wasn't ready to get on the field. I wasn't ready to put the pads on 2.5 years ago when I was at that conference. I was still up in the stands, dreaming, wishing, hoping. But I got in the gym. I started working out. So when that opportunity came, I was ready. So guys, get out of the stands, get in the gym. Make it a great week. Don't forget to unlock your life. Peace.
This is the podcastfactory.com.